Hello everyone, this is Jennifer, and in this video I wanted to address something because you might feel like you're still going crazy even after the relationship with the narcissist ends, and you might be worried. So I just wanted to address some of those things because I don't think it's addressed that enough. So I'll start with some of the primary ones, which is you might think that you're still going crazy because you can't seem to get over it. You're still feeling horrible. Why? It's been a long time. What's going on? And the reason why you feel this is because this will take a lot longer. This is not a normal relationship. This is an abusive relationship, first of all. But the primary thing is that you have to accept the fact that it actually was not a relationship at all, that you were tricked. And basically, it was all based on a lie. And this is a much harder concept to accept than a regular breakup. So it's going to take longer, and that's to be expected. You might be obsessed with research. Now, I know I took months and months, I did research. And then months after, even after the relationship was over, I was obsessed with it. And I wanted to know everything. And then there was a point when I thought, okay, this is ridiculous. Okay, it's been a long time. I need to not do this anymore. Like, I need to move forward. So I vowed to not look up anything about narcissistic abuse or narcissists. And I had to, like, I forced myself. But then in time, when I felt better, I did. I went back and I just, looked at the same videos. I read some articles, and that's to be expected. You might get sick of it at some point because you'll be upset that you're still researching it. And you might think that's something that's wrong because it's just too much information. But that's a normal thing also. And if you feel like, you've been informed too much or you're just looking into it too often, then take a break. And that's okay too. And when you're ready, you can come back. And if you're completely over it, then that's great too. But whatever you need to do with that, as far as research goes, or following up with other articles or anything like that, just, do whatever you feel is right. And don't force yourself to do anything or whatever doesn't feel right to you. The isolation is also another problem. Now, this is something that we're all used to, because of the relationship. And then afterwards, it's very hard to get out of because you're used to it. You might be comfortable. It's kind of a familiar discomfort that you're used to. So you just practice it. But also, you might not have the same people in your life. Most likely you won't. Like, all the friends you've had, they probably moved on. You probably don't talk to them anymore. Like, you don't know how to reach out to them. What'll you say? It's, you weren't around, right? You were isolated. So with that, I would say really take time to put yourself out there in baby steps, whether it's contacting one close friend or something, because it's very important to have people in your life. I'm not saying go out there and throw a party, but like at least a little bit, one friend. You need to talk to somebody. And this is something that takes work. It's not automatic. So you have to actually push yourself to do this. But it's important that you do that, or else you'll get locked in this isolation where you're just by yourself all the time. And that's not healthy either. You might actually feel, and I'm not being funny by any means, but there's a chance that you probably feel like you are disabled. You probably feel really out of it and you can't function right. And like the simplest things. And this is also normal. You've just been hoodwinked in the most egregious way, and it takes a long time to process it. So the simplest tasks might seem difficult. And with that, you need to just let it run its course because, you're adjusting again, and that's going to take time. We have the aha moments that sneak up here and there, like a reminder, a trigger. And in the beginning, there probably are a lot of these. So it'll just, everything will remind you of this person, which will set you back. And with time, it gets less and less. Like with me still, I know this is a funny one, but like chicken still reminds me. Like when I smell fried chicken cooking, I get disgusted. I'm not like overly emotional or anything, but I'm like, oh, because this is all my ex-narc ate all the time, fried chicken. So now the smell, like it's not as bad as it used to be at all. But, when I do smell it, it does remind me. And I don't like that, but it's not a horrible thing anymore. And that just lessens with time. You might be distracting yourself a lot because you don't want to face whatever you need to face because it's too hard. And that, well, you're just prolonging it, really. I did that for a long time. I kind of still do. Not because of the abuse, but because it just kind of became a habit of mine. But mine was the cleaning, which I obsessively cleaned everything and the lists, and like it had to be done. And I was never that kind of person. I was always kind of a messy person. So very odd behavior, but I threw myself in it because it kept me distracted from, what I needed to do or the things I needed to think about. But eventually I had to come to terms with the fact that I need to do something. I can't just clean all day. I'm running myself ragged. So if you're, distracting yourself, like sometimes that's okay and you need that. But there's a time when you need to actually, whatever it is you need to do. I had to force myself to like meditate and pray, whatever I needed to do just to feel somewhat grounded. And I had to literally force myself to do it in order to get in the habit. So that's something that helped me. The primary thing the reason why you might still feel like you're going crazy is because you still don't feel normal. Okay. And with this, okay, you're probably searching to find the person you were before the narcissist. You were probably an amazing person. You still are. But that person is not there anymore. And now what you can, instead of looking back at the person you used to be, what you need to do is look forward to the person you want to be, because you probably, you learned so much more now and you can move forward. So that person before the narcissist that's just a different person. And I'm not saying you're not going to have the same qualities or characteristics at all, but focus on what you want to do, what you want to be. Start fresh. And you don't need to always wonder, like, why can't I just be back to the way I used to be? Because even if you're perfectly healed, you will still not be the same person you used to be. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying you've changed because you've learned. In fact, you'll probably have a better life because of it, because of what you've learned in time. So look forward, not backwards. And I don't know if this is helpful at all, but I just think that this is something that needs to be addressed a little more for anybody who still thinks they're nuts, perfectly normal. And, don't worry about it and let it run its course. All right. Thanks a lot.